is so weird. Whoa. I'm definitely not going to read this. I've just woken up and I've decided I'm not going to go running outside. I'm going to go on my treadmill because it just feels so cold and I don't want to go outside. So I'm not going to. I'm going to go and run 4K on my treadmill. I'm going to be a little bit quiet because I don't want to wake the whole house up. So I will obviously update you a little bit later when I can speak loudly. While I use my treadmill, I'm going to have my headphones on and maybe listen to an audiobook. I'm currently reading A Little Life. I started reading that a few days ago and I think I've gotten into it. I think at first it was a little bit difficult. I feel like to get into it, and I know that I'm not the only one that felt like that. I know that so many people also said how difficult it was to get into that book, and I feel like that makes me feel better. I'm on page 199, so you know, I'm a little bit into it, I guess. As weird as this may be, I'm gonna wear my running vest even though it's on the treadmill. There we go. Oh my goodness. Good morning everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I thought I would bring you along for a day in my life, I guess. As you've just seen, I've obviously just went on my little run. The reason I didn't go actually out running was because I set my alarm for 5:55. I pressed stop and then I fell asleep and ended up waking up again at 6:37. So yeah, that is the reason I didn't actually go on a proper run. But I still went running. I went on my treadmill and I did 6 kilometers. I've still got my watch on my ankle. There we go. Yeah, I did 6 kilometers. Where was it? Somehow, I don't know how. I did, let's see if you can see it. Too blurry. Oh, there we go. But I did 29 minutes in zone 2. That's not bad at all. Wow. This workout helped you maintain cardiovascular health. Done regularly, activities like this will improve, how do you say that word? Longevity. I'll put what I was actually meant to do on the screen here so you can see. And I actually found it reasonably easy. It wasn't too difficult. I honestly don't enjoy running on the treadmill that much because it's just so boring. But this time I listened to my audiobook and it was actually not that bad. I didn't really get that bored. I had the door open right next to me, so it was quite nice. And yeah, I need to go and have a shower though, so I'm gonna stop talking and I'll see you afterwards once I've had my shower. What the hell? My nose is bleeding. That is so weird. What on earth? There has to be some kind of scientific reason for that. Oh my god. Okay, just had a shower. This is what I'm wearing today. So today I have got my work experience. So I haven't spoken about this before, but I'm doing work experience in a care home. I can't really speak about it, I think. I'm not really allowed to say much, but I'm doing my experience and I've done it for the last 4 weeks. This is my second to last day today, so I've only got this day and another day left and then that's it. I think that's it really, and I just thought, you know, to make this vlog a little bit longer, I thought I would speak a little bit about books at the end because that is my current obsession at the moment. I'm absolutely loving reading and I thought I wanted to speak about it a little bit. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So obviously I'm not allowed to film when I'm at the care home, but I will speak to you later when I'm walking on the way back. I hope you can hear me because let's be real, the audio on these headphones is rubbish. But just finished at the care home, and that was my second to last day, so you know, not really sure how to feel, but it kind of feels weird that like I've only got one day left and then I'm done, and like, what do you mean? Like, I've got so used to it, like it feels like I'm going back there. It feels so weird. So I don't know, that's how I'm feeling. But yeah, I'm gonna go home now and go and get my pajamas, and then oh gosh, I'm standing in mud. I don't know, might go and watch YouTube or something. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do, because it's usually about like 4:30 by the time I get back, so it gives me a lot of time, because I usually start doing my college work at about 7, so it gives me like a decent amount of time to, you know, in between now and when I start my college work, it gives me a lot of time to just kind of do what I want, which is nice. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go and do. Yeah, I think that's everything, to be honest. This is so scary because I never film in public, and I'm terrified right now, even though I'm literally in a field and like no one's here, literally no one's here. So it's fine, but I'm still absolutely terrified. But you know, I did it. There was even a man in the field and I still got my camera out, so I'm actually quite proud of myself for that, because you know, I'm terrified. I feel like I need to just breathe for a second. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave you now because I need to go. Bye. Can you hear the thunder? It is a little bit later now, and I wanted to speak about books. They are my current obsession. I think I said this morning, but I am absolutely loving reading at the moment. It's definitely a little bit of a phase. I hope it stays. It may not, but I hope it stays. I thought I would speak about a couple book recommendations that I have and tell you about a few 5-star reads that I have had recently. I haven't had that many because I'm like an average like speed reader, shall we say, and I don't really read books that fast. I have a few books that I want to give you. Let's begin with this book here. Now, I think in my last vlog I was reading this book. When I tell you that this book is really good, like some people will not have the same opinion as me. I can already feel it, but please just hear me out. At first, when I was reading this book, I was like, this is like at least like 3.5 to 4 stars. Like it just wasn't really, it didn't feel that great. And so I continued on. I was like, oh, I don't really want to read this, but like here I am reading my book, like I'm maybe halfway, and it starts getting interesting. I won't spoil it, but it is about this woman who is, what's her actual job title? I don't really know what it is, but she works for his magazine company, I think it's called Girl Chat. It's not what she wants to be doing. She wants to be a journalist like her friend Posey. She basically goes out for a drunken night out and she does some things that she shouldn't have done, and on the same day she found her best friend dead, Posey. And that's not a spoiler because it literally says it on the back. So yeah, but I won't tell you how she found her, but yeah, she found her dead, and she was basically trying to find who murdered her or how she died. And yeah, it's just really interesting. You find out lots about Posey and like how she was trying to find out who killed this other girl, and she got killed for some reason. And yeah, so yeah, it was actually really good and I really enjoyed it, and I'm very glad that I read this. I think this took me like 3 days to read, which for me that's quite fast. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I want to read this other book that she's written. I think, what's her name? Katie Brent. How to Kill Men and Get Away with It. I like the sound of that one. Anyway, I decided I wanted to read I don't know whether you would call this a classic, but it is a very old book. It was written like 70 or 80 years ago, and that is 1984. I don't know what brought me to read this book. I actually don't, but it's never the type of book that I would have picked up and read. But because I'd heard so much about it and how like twisted it is, I thought, do you know what, let's read it. And so I did, and let me tell you, whoa, it is definitely something. Yeah, I do not want to give a single spoiler to this book because you need to read this and to see what happens. It's a lot, and I probably wouldn't recommend it to people who are quite young. I know I'm young, but not like young, you know. There's a film about this book and I want to watch that. I haven't seen it, but I want to watch it. The next little bit I wanted to talk about was a few books that I was hoping to read and that are on my TBR at the moment. I don't know, you can kind of see it, but on my, whatever this is called, a few books that I want to read, starting with Holly by Stephen King. I found that in Tesco's and I was like, oh, that actually sounds quite good, and I thought it was quite funny that my name is Holly and the book's called Holly, but anyway, that's not really that funny, but you know what I mean. The Other Princess, I bought that in London a couple weeks ago. It sounds pretty good and I kind of want to read it, so that might be the next book after that one. Phantasma, I don't know how, I think that's how you say it. I'll show you the cover. I really want to read this. Also, I want to read, I really want to read any of the Sarah J Maas books, any of them, but obviously in the series order. I know that she's got the ACOTAR series, the Crescent City series, and the Throne of Glass series. I think I'm going to buy all of the ACOTAR series books because I would like to read them physically. A few book recommendations I wanted to give were Off to the Races series by Elsie Silver. I read the first book in that series and I actually really enjoyed it. I think it was like a 4-star read for me, I think. The Chestnut Springs series, I also read the first book in that series as well. I think it's called Flawless, and I really enjoyed that book too. My next book isn't a romance at all, but it is, I don't know, I think it would be considered non-fiction. I think it would be non-fiction. It's called Me vs. Brain. It's by Hayley Morris, and I think she's like a TikToker influencer kind of. I'm sure I've seen her TikToks before and I only just clocked that's who it was when I was reading the book, which is quite funny. She's like the lady who dresses up and is like, yeah, she's funny. But I also just want to quickly show my TBR because there's not a lot there, but there's a few things. Oh my god, my camera's gonna die. Right, let's be quick. So I'm definitely not going to read this, but this is the book I'm talking about just now. Anyway, I'm going to be really quick, but yeah, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I will see you next Friday, I guess. Thank you all so much for the love on the last 2 videos. It's actually been like, it's so, I know it's not like completely blown up, like it's not, let's be realistic, but thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next Friday. Bye!